I got rejected. Bad. Not like waitlisted, but just rejected, right? From every school I actually wanted to go to. And the thing that made it worse, I thought I had a good application. I genuinely thought I had done everything right. The grades were there, the activities were there. I had worked really hard, and it didn't matter. And I spent a long time being confused about why, until I figured it out. And when I figured it out, it changed everything. Not just for me, for every student I've worked with since. So that's what this video is, the full story. What went wrong, what I figured out, and what it means for your application. So let me give you some context about who I was when I applied to college. I grew up in Pakistan, middle class family. And when you grow up like that and you start looking at schools like Princeton and Oxford, there's this specific kind of hunger that comes with it. Because college isn't just college when you come from where I come from. It's the thing, the proof, the moment where everything you worked for is supposed to mean something. And I had worked. I wasn't sitting around waiting for things to happen. I had the academics, I had activities, I had what I genuinely believed was a strong profile. And so I applied and I waited, and the decisions came in, and it was really bad. And the version of rejection that really gets you, it's not the schools you always knew were long shots. It's the one you thought you had a real chance at. The ones where you read the profile of admitted students and thought, that's me. That could be me. Those are the ones that knock you down. I remember sitting with those rejections and genuinely not understanding, running back through everything in my head, my grades, my activities, my essays, and thinking, where did this go wrong? So I took a gap year, and I want to be honest about what that gap year actually looked like. Because I think people romanticize gap years like it's this enlightened period of self discovery. Mine wasn't that, at least not at first. At first, it was just uncomfortable, like genuinely uncomfortable. Watching people your age go off to university while you're still figuring out what went wrong. But that discomfort made me do something very useful. It made me obsessive about understanding admissions. And so I started reading everything, every book, every forum, every piece of research I could find. And then I started talking to people, students who got in, students who got rejected. And I started noticing something. The students who got in, the ones I was interviewing and reading about, they weren't necessarily smarter than me. They didn't all have better grades. They didn't all have more activities, but they had something I didn't have. And it took me a while to figure out what to call it. But the best word I have for it is this: they were inevitable. When you read their application, everything clicked. Everything pointed to the same place. There was a story, a through line, a reason why this specific human being was applying to this specific school. And when I went back and looked at my own application from that gap year and really looked at it, I saw it immediately. There was no story. There was a list, just a list, a genuinely impressive list of things I had done, but no reason why I had done that, no thread connecting to any of it, and no answer to the question, who is this person and why are they here? I had built a vending machine of sorts, and I didn't even know it. And that realization, that was a thing, because once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And I started understanding why that rejection had happened. It wasn't that I wasn't good enough. It was that my application hadn't told the admissions officer who I actually was. I had given them a profile. I hadn't given them a person. So I rebuilt. And here's what that actually looked like. I sat down and I asked myself three questions that I now ask every single student I work with. Number one, what do I keep coming back to even when nobody's watching? What problem genuinely makes me angry? And what do people come to me for? And when I answered those questions honestly, something became very clear. I had spent my whole life being someone who figured things out without being handed the solution or the resources. I was from a middle class family in Pakistan, no college counselor, no one in my circle who had done this before. And every step of the process, I had to reverse engineer myself. And every time I hit a wall, academically, professionally, or in any arena, I did the same thing. I studied the people who had figured it out. I found the pattern and I built a system. That was my thing. That had always been my thing. I just had never said it out loud. I'd never put it on paper, and I had never made it the center of my application. So I rebuilt the application around that. Every activity was reframed, every essay was rewritten, and not because the things I had done were wrong, because they weren't, but because the story connecting them had never been told. And the essays, God, the essays were different this time. The first time I had written essays that were trying to impress, trying to sound like what I thought an Ivy League applicant should sound like: polished, structured, safe. Second time I wrote essays that sounded like me. My actual voice, my actual story. Put things that were too niche to put on a college application. And turns out that specificity, that's exactly what they wanted. And I got into NYU. Full scholarship, and I remember that moment, not just as a relief, though it was relief, but at this specific clarity. Like suddenly understanding a language I had been trying to speak for years. Everything I had been doing wrong became obvious, and everything I had done right the second time became a framework I could teach now. And here's why I'm telling you this story, because I see myself in a lot of the students who come to me. Students who have worked hard, students who genuinely deserve to get in somewhere great, students whose applications are filled with real, impressive, and meaningful things. And yet somehow the whole package just doesn't land. And almost always the reason is the same. The story is missing. Not the activities, not the grades, but the story. And the thing that kills me the most is, because I've been on both sides of this now, is that the story is always there. It's always already there inside the student, in what they keep coming back to, in what makes them angry, in what people come to them for, right? They just never found it. Nobody helped them find it, right? The school counselor was managing 400 other students. Their parents didn't know what to look for. And every piece of advice they got online was about stats and activities and just rankings. Nobody told them the most important thing, which is that admissions officers are not looking for the most accomplished student. They're looking for the most inevitable, the one where they finish reading the file and think, of course, this person is applying here. And you can build that. That's not a talent you're born with, it's a framework. And once you have it, everything changes. I know because I lived it. If you got rejected this cycle, I know some of you watching this did. I want to say something directly to you. It's not over. And I don't mean that in a vague, motivational poster kind of way. I mean it literally. I got rejected from every school I wanted to attend. And then I rebuilt and I got it. And then I built a business helping other students do the same thing with a 100% success rate. We've got Princeton, Oxford, Cornell, Stanford, over $1 million in merit scholarships just this cycle. And none of that happens without the rejections, because the rejections were the thing that forced me to actually understand how this works. So if you're sitting with a rejection right now, use it not as evidence that you're not good enough, but as data, as a thing that forces you to finally figure out your story. Because your story is there, and I promise you it's there. You just have to find it. And if you want help finding it, just drop a comment. Tell me what you think went wrong or what you're working on now. I read every single one. And if you want to actually build this properly, narrative, the essays, the whole thing, the link is in the bio. All of my case studies are public. You can verify everything. Follow me on LinkedIn and DM me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. And I'll catch you in the next one.